Alright, this is the first video of the year, so I might as well start with my signature intro. Welcome to my grand solar minimum garden. This is year one. Year one on the timeline. Last year, coronavirus made it year zero. And it's 2020. This is 2021. That's year one. This is a little insider viewpoint of how history is going to look back on it thousands of years from now. So without any further ado, let's get it started. Yeah, anyways, it swung faster last year. All right. This is my cornfield. I practice farming that was done as various indigenous tribes did around the country. A combination of the peoples local to my region over here on the East Coast, and also the way the Hopi do it, 8,000 feet above sea level on the ocean floor of Arizona. Yep, I said the ocean floor of Arizona. So Three Sisters farming is squash, winter and summer, beans and corn, all grown in the same plot. And I'll have a follow-up video on exactly how I'm doing it this year. But for now, this is the intro to my garden. So for those of you that don't know, Riley, come here. So I have a fence here for these monsters. Riley, come here. Dita. Anyways, yeah, they get in here and they cause a mess. But the three wild crops that I leave here: dandelion, those are weeds. I still have yet to identify them. Purple nettles, which they're edible right now, perfect for the picking. And clover. And whatever this is, I'm really hoping that this is all clover, but I can see at least two different species, but it's everywhere. So if the darker colored stuff is clover, then my goals that I've been setting out for this garden are well underway. And I use it as ground cover, basically. I mean, look at this stuff. I didn't plant any of it, so I'm hoping that it's clover. We'll see. So I don't till my soil. I'm never gonna till this soil ever again. The only thing that I do is I'll take a shovel on like a 2x2 area and dig 2 feet down and turn that over where I plant my corn, where I plant my squash, where I plant my beans. That's about the only thing that I'll do. These bricks here, these are reclaimed bricks. I got them for like 25 cents each. I asked for the white ones, but they didn't know what I was talking about. So I did this year. This was not done last year, but I did this. It makes it easy. You know, if the neighbor actually weed whacked, he could just run along here and not worry about what grows up the fence. Same thing here. I just run the weed whacker right along there. Done, easy. It's a lot of work up front, but it pays dividends. So I got to get this one done. This is a beautiful mullein plant. It's Bushman toilet paper. It's nice and soft. Tissue paper, toilet paper, whatever. You can smoke it too, but it's good for congestion and stuff like that. Everything here serves a purpose. So the dandelion is edible, the clover is edible and medicinal, nettle is edible and medicinal. I put these in just now and opened this section up. This used to be just a mess right here. Let's see what else. I'm showing people what they can do before it really gets going. See, I'm up in Connecticut and I literally just planted my first crops yesterday, and they're experimental. I'll tell you what my strategy is with these. So I put some peas here, When they get tall enough, they'll use the fence as a trellis. And I plan on putting lettuce in between. Very easy, very simple. And chamomile, you're supposed to plant, from what I've read, if I have this right, if you plant chamomile and peas next to each other, the chamomile enhances the flavor of the peas. Go figure. I haven't looked really in depth into it, but that's how it works. But the way this works is I have 3 peas and they're the first of the year. Typically where I'm at, we don't plant until May, so I'm 2 weeks early. But this year the weather has been really warm, so I decided to go ahead and plant them. Now if they survive, I'm not going to eat these. I'm going to save these for next year. By doing this, I'm going to change the epigenetic switches in the genetics that get passed on to these. And if I do it year over year over year over year, eventually I'll have a very, very, very frost tolerant crop of peas. This is how plant breeders work with a little something called evolution. So in the springtime I plant purple peas, that way I get a spring and summer purple plant, and then for the summer to fall / winter I plant like winter peas. So I have 2 separate crops, 2 separate genetic lineages that work together during the growing season. Let me tell you why I selected the types that I use for my peas. Now, the reason I grow purple peas in the springtime is because I typically eat the immature or just before mature, and I eat the entire pod. So I eat the peas and the skin. I get the protein from the seeds, and I get the nutrients. It's mostly sugars and fiber on the shell, the pod. But also the reason I grow the purple pods is I want the anthocyanins. Listen, the reason I do purple peas in the springtime is so that I can get the antioxidants from the purple. Whenever you see purple in nature, immediately think antioxidants. So then in the wintertime, I get the green, almost white peas for their hardiness, so I can save them over the winter time. At least that's the plan. Just to clarify. So I just put these bricks down, open this area up, and this is the field from last year. I've got too much grass in this one, so I'm gonna have to really go to work. This soil is some of the best soil here. But I have carrots from last year. I did not pick them. Did not pick these carrots, so they're still here. I also have thistle growing. This is thistle. It looks just like clover, but this is thistle. 99% sure it's thistle. This is one of my oregano bushes. This is how I know it's good to plant. If the oregano is growing, that means it should be planting season. And oregano is just so good to eat. It's probably one of the best medicinals out there, and it's so difficult to get rid of. It's one of my favorites. I just eat the oregano raw, just munch on it. Let's see what else I got going on. Here's another oregano bush. I built this whole garden in terraces because this is on a slope. It helps catch the water instead of everything just running off. It catches the water, fills up, and then drains. It's just a superior system. These are some of my fruit trees. I left them inside too long and they started flowering already. There's no bees because everybody sprays everything. So I think the best that I can do is kind of hand pollinate this all myself and just wish and hope for the best. Okay, see, then I'll go back to this one, back to this one. I think that's the best I can do. I've got fruit trees, I've got fruit bushes, different types of berries. These are walnut trees, black walnut trees. This is like a 60-year plan, if the world lasts that long. Yeah, you cut down the trees at the end and then you sell them to furniture makers. So these I didn't do anything with last year. I had some kale plants, and you can see them over there, but this section got overgrown. This was where I did most of my gardening here this year, and you can see those are all strawberries. So we just practice Masanobu Fukuoka's do nothing farming, gardening. We don't farm. Farming is like, if you look at a city and it's house after house after house after house, that's the powers that be farming your labor so that they can live in mansions and build a spacecraft and be untouchable. Farming is a whole bunch of animals herded into the same warehouse. Farming is row after row after row after row of the same crop. We don't do farming. Farming is demonic. These were my potatoes. Oh, this is all the, so all the stuff, the sunflowers, the squash, the corn, I rake it all out. I put it in a pile down there and I compost it, and when the compost is ready, I redistribute it. I do not till. The only thing I'll do this year is buy a few bags of hay, because I don't have, I'm not going to use the stuff in my lawn. If I had more land, I would devote a section of that land to growing fallow, and then I'd cut that and turn that into hay. That doesn't work. My goal for this plot right here is to be completely covered with strawberries, and I use that as ground cover. Look at the amount of weeds that are growing here. Right, these things, these are a pain. I hate them. I still don't know what they are, but they grow under the soil, and it's just so difficult to get rid of. And then you go over here and look, the strawberries kind of, they compete with the other crops. There's some, but it's easier to get, it's easier to combat. Okay, I have more oregano down here. Again, I have to clean this whole place up, so hopefully in the next 2 weeks I get everything cleaned up. Here's onion, or garlic, excuse me. This is garlic. I just leave this here. You have to be careful about where you plant anything of the allium family, because it releases a toxin in the soil that prevents the growth of other. But I leave this here just for a deterrent, and because it's going to flower and it's good for the bees and the bugs. And this was or is my asparagus patch. I don't know. They haven't popped up yet. So I'm waiting to see. I have to weed all this out. And then if they don't pop up, I don't know what to do. But I typically have asparagus going on here. I hope to get some stuff down in here, but that's a lot of work. I've been piling up dirt whenever I moved it. It's not dirt. So this pond was created in the 70s. It used to just be a swampy little river. It's a nice pond. It used to be a swampy river, and they took machines in here and dredged it all out. So all my soil is hard pack. So that's the natural soil, what it looks like, just stony. And that's sitting there 2 years. But it's not bad if I'm terraforming and creating new ledges. So all that mucky stuff, I'm literally just gonna take some logs, as you can see that white birch right here in the corner. Take some logs and just run them across. I'll probably end up shoveling some of the river dirt. That's good dirt. River dirt is good dirt. And then creating a ledge all the way along there. But again, that's a lot of work. I still have to come through and cut all this stuff down. I made this last year and didn't do anything with it. I haven't exactly figured out what I'm gonna plant everywhere. But I mean, I lost this big old branch fell off the maple tree. It's right here. So I gotta chop that up, clear all this area out. Here's some more compost and crap. Bamboo, I gotta get rid of this, but I'm gonna use it. So everything goes to use in my garden, but it's a lot of work this year. It's a lot of work this year, but it's okay. Because every year the work that I do, it compounds and it gets easier and easier and easier. And I think that's just about it. When I get this place cleaned up and I get everything organized, you'll be able to see a whole lot better what's going on. I said I don't use this because my dogs are menaces. You can see all the stuff that they eat. Well, that's, I guess if you looked closer, you'd see bits of plastic and like rope toys and tennis balls and rubber and anything they get. I got a pit bull and a lab. Anything they get, that's all from the dogs. They eat it, and then so I don't use the grass in my garden. But here, 99% sure those are lilies. I keep this corner full of gardens because somebody down that way, about 3-4 yards. Let me see, 1, 2, 3 houses down. The person's got a whole got like a dozen bee boxes, I guess they're called. I got bee balm right here to try and attract them and bring them over. I think that's the bee balm growing. Some lilies, and there should be 1 or 2 other things growing, and I plan on adding more flowers. I've done a good amount of research this year. I'm just about to wrap it up. I've done a good amount of research here. There's the compost pile right there. I've done a good amount of research this year into companion planting and picking flowers that attract. So here is going to be my trap. I'm going to have a whole bunch of flowers that attract the pests. For example, I think they're pronounced nasturtiums. They're little flowers, really colorful. They're pretty if you're into that kind of stuff. And then right next to them, I'm gonna put flowers that attract the predator species. So the predators, so the pests are just gonna congregate where their preferred food source is, far away from my crops. And then right next to it is going to be the things that the predator species like, and hopefully it's going to be like fishing in a barrel with dynamite. So I got a lot of things going. I've begun germinating stuff inside and all that fun stuff. Look at that. This stuff is such a pain. What I have to do is I have to research this, whatever it is, and then I figure out its ideal growing conditions, and then I change the growing conditions. So I have to change the pH of the soil so that it's not optimal for this stuff to thrive, and that's how I do it. This is either mustard or violet. I'm not going to eat random stuff. I can't tell just by smelling it. There's an app, like a plant identifier. Might be mustard. It helps to know what things smell like. It's one of the qualities. Anyway, that's about it. That's my first video for the year. Today is Sunday, April 11th, I think. Year 1 of the Grand Solar Minimum. Enjoy.